All right. Well, this one is just to, put to bed some rumors. Apparently, Slanty Chauffeur Bear did a $5 super chat to Vox, which said, "Revelation from the Kurgan is you like long hugs. I'm too far away, so have 5 buckaroos instead." And that just made my day. So, it was on one of Vox's dark streams, I think, that, I mentioned, don't believe him. Vox loves long man hugs. He's into them, just a manly brotherhood, sort of manly long hug. He's not into handshakes, Kiss on both cheeks like the Europeans do is all fine. He's been in Italy long enough that, he's cool with that. Yeah, so just letting you know, if he tells you anything different, then don't believe him. He's just being a little bit timid, He's just he's got a persona to uphold as a supreme dark lord, and we don't want to, there's nothing wrong with a manly man hug, likes long, slightly lingering ones. That's what he loves. Just that I'm just doing a video just on that, just to make his day, too. So yeah, so that was that, and what other things have been going on? I've just been really busy. Oh yeah, the trip to the States is on. Thank you guys for like being so cool. We're within $1,200 or something of covering all the costs that Nameless Bear has already stumped up for. He's paid for everything in advance, so that's a pretty big leap of faith on his part. And you'll notice that it keeps dropping. So it was originally a $4,000. Now it's down to 2,500, and that's because he's also getting contributions from PayPal, from some bears and other people that like just sending money on PayPal. So he's very honest about that, and he's putting whatever he gets on PayPal, he deducts from what he's asking for on the GoFundMe. So we're within $1,200 or thereabouts. So thank you, and keep it coming. We still have about 2 weeks or so, just over a week, something like that, 10 days or something like that. Until I meet some of you in person. I have ordered a small number of t-shirts, which the priority for those will go to the people who have made the biggest donations, who show up. The next is, if we run out of those, then you can buy some of them. Dain will have a few books that he's purchased to sign. The signed Believe books will sell at $20. That's just for him to recoup the layout that he's put on the books and all the other stuff. If we do go over the target, any additional money will be used to try and get people to the church that Dain has found somewhere nearby, near Hobart, which is a legitimate Catholic church. Mass, legitimate Catholics are operating there. I checked on that with our priest, who is in contact. They are in contact. They collaborate with St. Gertrude's Church, which is the one that Dain Cook has found. So if you're anywhere, in Indiana, in Hobart, you always get in touch with Dain. He's got quite a few people to come to Latin Mass. Like I said, in our own little place here in London, 2 guys that watched these videos came to on the Sunday Mass, and it was great. It's great to see them. We're busy organizing for the 21st of December a gathering. There is one of you at least who's flying in, I think from the States, just to come to that Q&A about the Catholic Church and Latin Mass and so on. And if that's a success, it's probably going to become a regular event. Maybe just a few times a year. Maybe, like we might start out with twice a year, 3 times a year, something like that. If we can, we'll get it up to 4 times a year. And I think if that continues to be a success, and there's enough people, and there's enough interest, and there's enough support, actual practical financial support for it, eventually I think we can get our own Catholic priest here in London, which would be great. And you know, you never know. If some of you are somewhat millionaires, let me know, and we can buy one of the many churches that are abandoned and create a, you know, get our own church up as well. So just some sort of housekeeping video, this one. What else? I was thinking that I will probably bring some of the slides and that I used for my talk on the face on Mars many years ago. They're still all valid, they're still all relevant. But the thing is, I don't know if they will work because they're actual transparencies where, you know, in the old days you used to have that sort of machine where you put a transparency on and it flips it, shows it onto a screen. I don't know if those even exist anymore. It's a bit like a fax machine, like who uses those anymore? But I'll bring them along. It's going to be a pretty intimate, quite small room, so maybe I can just lay them out on a table or something, and people can come and see, you know, can have a look while I talk about them. So I will try and talk about the face on Mars. I will try and do my best to answer any questions you have on Catholicism and the book Believe, and or any other of my books that I've written that you might be interested in. If you want something signed and you definitely want to make sure that you're going to have one, just buy it before, have it with you so that I can sign it there. That's basically it. It's getting quite busy on the rush up to the trip to the States. So if you've got any questions or whatever, you know, there's so many things I could talk about on any given day, and each one I could go on for hours about, you know, like there's stuff on like relationships, there's stuff on how your brain works, there's stuff on how to rewire your own brain, there's stuff on, you know, one of the biggest issues I think is on the generic feminist brainwashing that we've all been subjected to, and how that has really, really destroyed. It's hard to understand how much that has impacted life for everybody, and how much destruction feminism has resulted in for families, children, men, women. It's made everybody miserable and unhappy, and it's you know, it's a topic that deserves a bit of time. So it's not like a 5-minute thing, but worth discussing in some detail. Particularly for women. You know, women are the main target of this, but of course the repercussions affect everybody, and it affects men too, because, you know, I believe that a lot of the feminist bullshit that just gets fed to you from childbirth, you know, really. And it's only with time and experience and so on that you realize a lot of it is just wrong. Not just wrong, but opposite to the truth, and pernicious, you know, perniciously evil, intentionally, toxically, absolutely evil. It's certainly made women far less happy. You know, it's quite often they have these like polls about happiness and whatever, and it's absolutely clear that women were a lot better off in the 40s and 50s and 30s and 20s. And with the technology that we have now, if we had still retained the generic attitude towards women that we had in the 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe even 50s, we would absolutely, it would be, you know, the modern nuclear family could be something really awesome. Something really, really awesome. And instead it's you know, it's the landscape of desolation. You know, it's the desert of desolation, really, when it comes to relationships, families, kids. You know, unless you're living in a third world country without internet access, in which case you're not even able to see what's going on here, the chances are that you're pretty miserable, really. I have personally met and known families of 12 children, you know, a man and woman married, no divorce, no anything like that, very Catholic, with 12 kids and very little to share between them. And they did a sterling job, you know, and all their kids are pretty well off, pretty good. You know, they all have decent jobs. They all have relatively decent lives. being able to travel, do all sorts of stuff that obviously a family that has 12 kids and are not wealthy can't afford, but the kids are all doing well. Although most of them failed relationships, not married, maybe have a random kid here or there, you know. So it's an astonishing situation. If you could have your family around you and you continue to breed enough kids, that's who's going to show up in the future, you know. So it's all right, the fact that, you know, other religions like Islam are overtaking the numbers of Christians, especially of real Christians. We long ago were overtaken in numbers, you know, but that doesn't matter. Like, Christians have always outperformed every other religious group in terms of efficiency and effectiveness. It is only through deceit that we have been, you know, decimated, wiped out, or destroyed in any way. And the deceit generally usually comes from the small hats. The Muslims are more direct in their very practical breeding like rabbits and just having a lot of offspring and taking over by default by numbers. So as Christians, we have to protect our Christendom. And if Christendom is lost, we have to recreate it, you know, recreate communities, recreate cities, recreate countries and nations that are Christian, Catholic, and protect them, you know, protect that stuff. So I will eventually do a little bit of a thing, I suppose, on feminism, the family unit, how that's all been corrupted, changed, and destroyed in many, many ways, and how what you probably have to do to try and get it back, you know. But that's going to be a pretty long, maybe multi-part type video. On this one, I just wanted to remind you again to help out Dain Cook. There's not a lot of time left, so we're within target, you know. It's like within $1,200. It's not that much, you know. That's, I don't know, $100 for 12 guys, or, you know, $10 for 120 people. I've got 1,000 subscribers, so, you know, should be okay. And again, to those of you that have contributed, whether it's, you know, $1 or $200, thank you very much. It's very much appreciated, and we will have an effect. You will have had an effect, because the ripples that come from this, we can't predict. We don't know how big it's going to get, but I'm telling you, it's going to have an effect bigger than any of us will ever really know about. You know, we will know about some of it, but we won't know about all the repercussions and all the good that this kind of gathering and getting together and forming a little community, even if it's just online, although there are communities forming in the real world as a result of this too. And Dain Cook is very responsible for that. So, you know, you guys are changing lives. You know, you're part of something that's changing people's lives. So well done, you. And that's it. A short one for today. Thankfully, I'm sure for a lot of you. And just remember, don't believe in what he says. You know, Vox loves long hugs. You know, he's just shy about it. He's just very, very shy about it. You know, that's it. Have a good day.